Coding is a powerful tool. Whether you want to create websites, apps, and video games, work a fully remote job with a six-figure salary, or bring upon the AI apocalypse, learning to code opens up endless possibilities. Today, we're going to cut through the hassle of starting your coding journey by answering 3 questions. What is coding? What language should I start with? And most importantly, what steps should I take to achieve my goals in software development? Think of coding as a way for ordinary humans to talk to computers. Computers only understand binary, a system of numbers with only 2 digits, 1 and 0. They're created this way because CPUs are most effective with this number system. All computer processors contain transistors, electrical gates that can be switched on or off, where on represents 1 and off represents 0. By using this system, computers can break down any and all information into many ones and zeros, which can be processed very efficiently. Programming languages were first used with computers in the early 1900s, and computer scientists developed them to be usable and understandable by humans by using words instead of just binary numbers. All code is written using these programming languages. The computer then breaks down this code into binary. This system is what allows humans to write instructions for computers. By using programming languages, humans can create instructions for a computer. These instructions can tell the computer to display text, retrieve data, or send messages to other computers, to name just a few examples. Programming languages are necessary because they're the link between software engineers and computers. Engineers can understand and write code with them, while computers can process that code, which allows us to make software. Coding, programming, or software engineering is the act of using programming languages to create something or accomplish a task. At the very basic level, coding can be used to solve basic arithmetic, and at the highest level, coding can be used to create self-driving cars, artificial intelligence, and much more. There's a lot of information out there on how to get started with coding, and it's easy to get frustrated. The most important thing for any beginner is to simply start somewhere, because there isn't one right way to begin learning. My recommendation is to start by selecting and focusing on one programming language based on your interests. If you're interested in developing iPhone apps, Swift is your number one option. Swift was created by Apple and was first released in 2014. It's good for beginners because of several key factors. Firstly, it has a large community because Apple made it open source, or free to use for all people. This large community means that if you run into problems, you can find solutions online, as many other people have likely experienced the same issue. Another reason it's a great starting language is that it's simple and readable, which means that you won't run into as much confusion early on. Lastly, Swift has a more strict syntax, which means you develop good coding habits and the language naturally prevents you from more complex errors. On the other hand, Kotlin is a great language for Android development. An added bonus is that Google recently announced that Kotlin is its preferred language for Android development, which means that the Kotlin community will continue to grow. Kotlin is concise and simple, similar to Swift, so it has similar benefits. Kotlin's creators also made Kotlin error-resistant by detecting errors at compile time. If developing websites interests you, learning JavaScript is your best bet. All web browsing applications like Safari or Google Chrome most extensively support websites developed with this language. Furthermore, JavaScript has a huge community and is one of the most popular languages. It's been the number one most used language for over 9 years. Just note that JavaScript is on the harder side to understand than Swift or Kotlin, and it tends to be a little more error-prone. C# is a good language for developing games for PC, mobile, or console platforms because of the widespread use of Unity, a game development engine. While C# is a little more complex to understand, it's powerful and has been used to create many successful video games. Finally, if you have no idea what you might be interested in, or are interested in other more technical specialties, start with Python. Python has been a growing language for years now and is used by many programmers across the globe. It's easy to understand and use, making it maintainable and less error-prone. It can also be applied to many interesting fields like machine learning and artificial intelligence. Remember, regardless of what language you choose, understanding key concepts and practicing with the language is what will help you create working applications. And after you've mastered a single language, every new language you decide to learn will be easier to understand because every programming language is based on very similar concepts. After you select a programming language, your next step is to take a course or look at tutorials on that language. The best resources out there are actually free. YouTube, Codecademy, and EDX have great courses and tutorials on getting started. As you get better, you can also search out paid courses on sites like Udemy, where you can pursue more advanced topics. The most important thing for any developer is to understand the fundamentals. It's vital to have knowledge on how your language works with the computer and the applications you're developing, as well as how to use key aspects such as variables, conditional statements, loops, and functions. An important thing to avoid is getting stuck in tutorials. Without starting your own projects using the skills you learn, they won't stick in your brain and your improvement will be slow. Doing research on topics you're interested in and then using your knowledge to create challenging projects is the best way to progress after you've gotten the fundamentals down. Programmers never stop learning, especially when you're a beginner. Patience, determination, and consistency are key to being successful in this field. Thanks for watching my beginner's guide to coding in 2022. Stay tuned for more tutorials on coding and software development, and I'll see you in the next video.